Good morning everyone, welcome to a new market update, and today we're going to discuss Bitcoin, Ethereum and Cardano. But before we continue, I would like to ask you to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Also, tomorrow we won't be having a live stream as I just can't have enough screen time at this moment, so I'm already happy to be making a new YouTube update and hopefully back soon enough to be live streaming for you guys. What do we see on Bitcoin? We saw that we had a beautiful breakout above 35k. We also said that this range around 38 would not be granting that much resistance as we had a test once already. That happened nicely as we saw a slight rejection, beautiful continuation, and the actual resistance is found at the next level, and that's the final level preventing us from new all-time highs, which is the area around 40.5. Something to keep in mind is the fact that we do have a dollar index crawling up, and while Bitcoin is crawling up and the equity markets as well, that seems to be out of balance. So that's something we are watching currently, and next to that we also have a CME futures listing of Ethereum tomorrow. Well, Ethereum is doing nicely, as we can see that on the higher time frames we have reached the next area of the Fibonacci extension here. However, we do know what happened with Bitcoin in 2017 with the Ethereum or with the futures listing. I'm not assuming we're going to see a copy paste of what we saw in 2017, as that was the cycle high. However, it could be a buy the rumor sell the news concept, in which I'm a little bit cautious on the markets at this point, given the fact that so many coins are going vertical. So when we look at Ethereum and we look at the daily time frame, we can see that we have been accelerating nicely, and we have actually seen similar constructions in history. So if we go back in history, we see that we got a nice breaker here with a nice run up, after which we could not hold the previous high and started to consolidate for a longer period. I'm not assuming we're going to see a similar case. However, we had such a breakout, and we see that the critical breaker is the previous resistance. Similarly, we do see a breakout in the summer last year, after which we could not hold the previous resistance and started to drop south as well. So what we are looking at right now is on the daily time frame, we want to sustain support above this area around 3050 to 1400. So as long as Ethereum remains on support there, it seems likely that we're going to see a continuation. If we look at the 4-hour time frame, we can see that we have a similar construction of support here, which is the zone between, or at least this gray box that has to hold. I've shared those levels on Twitter as well, but if we lose this gray zone, for instance, we get such a move in which we reject this previous resistance and this block here, there's a likelihood we're going to test the support again. There's also a likelihood that we're going to fail to hold this level, and then the critical level around 3050 to 1400 starts to appear here. So it is a little bit cautious on Ethereum at this point. Ethereum against Bitcoin is still looking fine. However, if we zoom out a little, we can see that there is a potential bearish divergence on the markets if this area around 0.4 sets loses support, very similar to the construction that we have here, in which we constantly make new highs. If we reject the previous high and start to fall down, it seems likely we're getting a higher low in this range before the next big breaker comes. However, if we hold the area around 0.4, we could be having continuation, of course. Then Cardano against USD. Clear breaker of this resistance here. I was expecting a correction to occur there. We did it slightly, after which an acceleration happened, and we can see that we are at 1.618 Fibonacci level. First of all, I'm assuming that this peak high in 2017 is going to be very small to what the market is doing right now. The market is just waking up. This does not mean that you should be accumulating Cardano after this move. As in the short term, the downwards momentum could be significant, or at least higher than an additional upwards momentum. So your risk-reward ratio is not as good as it is. So if we correct here and get a similar correction like we did see here, so we get a similar correction before we start to make a new impulse wave, that is very likely. So that's why you're going to look at those ranges here as potential buy the dip approaches, and in which you want to start accumulating again and be ready for the next impulse wave. Especially given the fact that this impulse wave is done, the next target zones from here are $1.12 and $1.70. I've stated that Cardano could run towards $5 to $7, which is through a very easy measurement of a size of market that has to increase. So if you want to see that video, that's on the YouTube channel. But currently on the short term, Cardano is simply just not an entry point. You're looking at any of these levels based on the daily time frame for a potential entry. On the daily time frame, the 1618 Fibonacci level is reached, which is beautiful. But given the fact that there is some cautiousness on the markets, we might be having a correction. And if we get towards the Bitcoin chart of Cardano, I've made this one a while ago, we are still in a very nice accumulation period. We are making new higher highs, we are making new higher lows, so you want to see a new higher low in this region, after which the next big breaker occurs. This is just an example. I'm not assuming we're going to get it in this period, but if you want to look for longs for Cardano, this is the level that you want to go for, and then the next real run will bring us towards 4,300 satoshis or maybe even higher. So coming to a conclusion of this small market update, I've got the wrong one again. We are looking at a very critical move of Bitcoin here. We want to see a breaker of this range. If that does not happen, we get a lower high, it's very likely we're getting a renewed test of this 38k support. And this 38k support has become critical after 35 now, as if we don't hold 38, I'm assuming we're going to have a further corrective move, and then we're just going to flip levels bearish until we get to the bottom of the range again, just like the example shows here. Question mark, how are altcoins going to perform in that period? We simply don't know. I'm assuming altcoins will correct alongside with Bitcoin. Also, if we break 40.5, I think we're going to accelerate, and next Fibonacci targets are 50k from here. So the critical levels are this region around 38 and this region around 40.5. Thank you for watching. I'll be back tomorrow with a short market update and hopefully very soon with a new live stream. Enjoy your Sunday.